Hi, welcome to another episode. Please hit the subscribe button and let's dive in. Hamas official Ghazi Hamad has vowed to repeat brutal terrorist attacks on Israel again and again until the country is destroyed, saying it has no place on our land. During the attacks, thousands of Hamas terrorists crossed into Israel, butchering around 1,400 people, the vast majority civilians. Israel said the terrorists tortured families and took at least 239 hostages back to the Gaza Strip. Hamad said, "The Al-Aqsa flood is just the first time, and there will be a second, a third, a fourth, because we have the determination, the resolve, and the capabilities to fight. Will we have to pay a price? Yes, and we are ready to pay it. We are called a nation of martyrs and are proud to sacrifice martyrs." He added, "Israel is a country that has no place on our land. We must remove that country because it constitutes a security, military, and political catastrophe to the Arab and Islamic nations and must be finished. We are not ashamed to say this with full force. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we will do this again and again." Hamad went on to blame Israel for the soaring violence in the region, claiming the country's existence was illogical. He added, "It is Israel, not us. We are the victims of the occupation. Therefore, nobody should blame us for the things we do." The comments come amid a fierce battle between Hamas and Israel in the Gaza Strip. Tel Aviv has launched a ground operation, and there have been reports of fighting as deep as the outskirts of Gaza City. Israel claims to have killed dozens of terrorist fighters, while Hamas-linked social media claims to have destroyed Israeli vehicles killing soldiers. The IDF said earlier at least 13 Israeli soldiers had been killed in the fighting. The news comes amid soaring fears that the war in the Levant could engulf the Middle East. Yemen's Houthi rebels entered the war against Israel yesterday by claiming missile and drone attacks against southern Israel and vowing they would continue. The Israel Defense Forces on Wednesday bolstered the country's naval presence in the Red Sea area following repeated missile and drone attacks by the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. The IDF said that missile destroyers were deployed in accordance with the assessment of the situation and as part of the increased defense efforts in the region. On Tuesday, Israel's Arrow air defense system intercepted a surface-to-surface missile launched at the Jewish state from the Red Sea area. A spokesperson for Yemen's Ansar Allah, the official title of the Houthi movement, confirmed the terror group had launched ballistic and cruise missiles at Israel, as well as drones. In addition, the Iranian-backed terror group Hezbollah has regularly exchanged blows with Israel across the Lebanese border. Both sides have suffered casualties in the fighting. Israel has vowed to destroy Hamas following the attacks and has rejected calls for a ceasefire. The Hamas-run health authority in Gaza said 8,762 people have died there since the war began. This comes after the son of Hamas founder Sheikh Hassan Youssef, who defected from the terrorist group and served as an Israeli spy for years, warned Americans and the rest of the world how his father and his army want to annihilate Jewish people and establish Sharia law around the world. Mossab Hassan Youssef, referred to as the Green Prince, spied on Hamas for Israel between 1997 and 2007. His intelligence prevented suicide bomb attacks and other strikes. In a series of interviews with American media outlets, he warned that his father and Hamas will not be satisfied with taking territorial Palestine alone, and that they are fighting a religious war to which there is no end for them. They want to annihilate the Jewish people and the Jewish state. They want to kill everybody who supports Israel, then establish an Islamic state. But this is not the end, because their ambition is global. They want to establish an Islamic state, a global Islamic state eventually, he told Jake Tapper on CNN. He also said the group initiates war with the Israelis every few years when they need money. So who is Hamas? Hamas is a Palestinian group that has ruled the Gaza Strip since 2007. The group is sworn to Israel's destruction and wants to replace it with an Islamic state. Hamas has fought several wars with Israel since it took power. It has fired or allowed other groups to fire thousands of rockets into Israel and has carried out other deadly attacks. In response, Israel has repeatedly attacked Hamas with airstrikes. In 2008 and 2014, it also sent troops into Gaza. Together with Egypt, Israel has blockaded the Gaza Strip since 2007 for what it describes as security reasons. Hamas, or in some cases, its military wing, the Izzadin al-Qassam Brigades, has been designated a terrorist group by Israel, the United States, the European Union, and the UK, as well as other powers. Iran backs the group, providing it with funding, weapons, and training. Israel has said its forces have attacked Hamas gunmen inside the militant group's vast tunnel network beneath Gaza, as fighting shows no sign of stopping. After the first successful rescue of a hostage held by Hamas, Israeli troops appeared to push further into Gaza, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again rejecting calls for a ceasefire. Hamas has so far released 4 civilians from the 240 hostages Israel says it captured during the militant group's attack on 7th of October, with many thought to be held inside the tunnel. On Tuesday, the Israel Defense Forces released footage it claims shows its ground operations in Gaza, while Hamas shared a video purportedly showing its fighters clashing with Israeli forces. Hamas claims its footage shows one of its fighters climbing out of a tunnel in the west of the Israeli city of Erez, just north of the Gaza border, on Sunday. Hamas's capture of hostages was thought to be designed to pressure Israel to free some of the estimated 5,100 Palestinians who were held in Israeli prisons at the start of the month. The Israeli military says at least 240 people are still being held in Gaza. These include 20 children and at least 10 people aged over 60. Soldiers were also taken. Hamas has so far released 4 hostages following mediation by Qatar and Egypt. On 20th October, 2 American-Israeli hostages, mother and daughter, Judith and Natalie Ryanin, were freed. 4 days later, 2 elderly Israeli women, Nurit Cooper and Yocheved Lifshitz, were released. On Monday, Israel's military said its soldier Ori Megiddish had been rescued during ground operations in Gaza on Sunday night. Thanks for watching, and see you again for another episode of World Formatics.
The entire Palestinian people, and use them as a fuel to just achieve their ideological agendas.